Trysta joining us on the stream. Trysta, what's happening?
What's good, guys? I need some bottles in the background too.
Oh, we got you.
I need that.
Say less, Trysta. Say less. We got you.
Yeah, you with the right crew here. We'll get your weekend. We'll get your weekend set up real nice. Are you bigger into like a specific? Like, are you more like basketball? Are you football when it comes to your BetMGM work?
Well, they have us do everything. I mean, they have us give out plays on EPL, and I was never really a big EPL fan, truthfully, or an MLS fan or a hockey fan. So I would say my number one sport for sure is basketball. Obviously, I have the Heat Check podcast on the Odyssey Network as well. That's an NBA pod that's, mostly like around the NBA. I was talking to a friend actually about this yesterday. If I had to describe what the podcast is, it's basically Brian Windhorst's pod if it dropped a week earlier and was funny.
I like that. That's a good look. That's a good look.
I could dig that. So I mean, are you worrying about aggregators on that pod as well? If you're doing it like Brian, don't aggregate me. Don't.
I love aggregators. Aggregate me, troll me, come through. All it does is just keep the traffic going. I was like, oh yeah, Dub Nation, don't comment on videos that have nothing to do with Golden State, because all it does is put me into the algorithm and allow people to see me who's never seen me before. So please don't do it. I hate it.
How was that whole experience with Dub Nation and in the what you had to deal with for the Warriors start of the season?
It's still going, by the way. It's still happening.
Oh, good.
It's still happening as we speak. Like the most comments are like, Dub Nation, we're smoking on that TK pack today. Blah, blah, blah. When they went down big to Cleveland last night, I was salivating because I just love to continue to prod and poke them. The Warriors are good. Like, let's be serious. But if they lose to Detroit tonight because they have 3 out of 5 starters out, I'm coming. I will be coming. That would be a look ahead game. No, it was actually fine. Like, they were pretty playful. I think that they allowed me to be a good sport about it. When I have a bad take that goes cold, I'm totally fine to own it and laugh about it. Cause it's just, we're not talking about like foreign, diplomacy here. We're talking about basketball. We're talking about a game, a child's game that we should all enjoy. And we bet on it and we root for teams. And that's really should be the long and short of it. Like, Philly fans are way worse than Golden State.
Yeah, that's the funny thing, man, that like when you talk for a living, you're going to say stupid stuff. You're going to mess up a read. You're going to have a terrible take on a quarterback, on a player, on a basketball team, on an entire season, as we're frustratingly aware of in Sacramento. And all you could do is own it, because what's bad, Trysta, is when you double down and try to defend it, that's when it gets ugly.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and sometimes, like, for example, with Ben Simmons, people got very mad because Ben did have some good games. Like, Ben went for 42 points, I believe, 42, 43 points against the Utah Jazz.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It was without Embiid. I don't know if you guys remember that game. It was like in February of last year. It was like he was 100% from the field in the first quarter, and then all of a sudden he disappears in the fourth quarter, like usual, right? Like usual. And we didn't know it was like usual at that point. And I'm doubling down. Ben's got his best game, and I'm doubling down. No, Ben is actually not good. Like, you lost to the Utah Jazz, and you didn't have Embiid, and they didn't have pieces as well. And people were so mad because at that point I looked like I was wrong, right? It looked like, why are you continuing to come after Ben when he had the best game of his career? We want him to be a scorer. He's finally a scorer, and you're still finding things to complain about. And it's like, no, all of the things that I think about Ben, this just solidifies. So sometimes you see it before everyone else, and there's these little blips in the radar, like with Boston when they went on a run last year. It's like, no. This is a little blip. Boston's still not good. And then, ultimately that comes to fruition. So it's just when you have fundamentals and philosophies about the game, you have to kind of hold true to those philosophies. And when that thing changes, that's when your opinion, I think, should change.
No need to panic. All right. No need to panic. That's how I feel about Ben Simmons as well. Right. Like what we saw in that conference final or semifinals or whatever, to me, that's who he's been since they lost to Toronto.
Correct.
I would see him against Toronto. Jimmy Butler's doing all the work and B's doing the work. He's standing there in the short corner. They wanted to get this guy $150 million for what? You know what I'm saying? So it was nothing new to me. And yeah, he's not a complete scrub, so he's going to have some games here and there. But he is who he is. That's how I've always felt about
Well,
it.
and I think people actually just watch the game where they're watching the flow of the offense or they're watching all the exciting plays and almost like highlight watching. But if you were to like focus on just Ben and only watch him for the entire game, watch nothing else but him, like you would see that he was trying to move himself away from where the action was. And at certain times in the game, pivotal points in the game, he really just didn't want to even be involved.
Mm-hmm.
And it only takes a certain kind of focus or like narrowing your lens to see certain elements of the game, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Trysta Krick, host of Bet MGM Tonight with us here on D-Lo and KC. Who's the realest team like in the Eastern Conference right now? Like Washington, Chicago, which one of those is like, nah, this is legit. This is gonna last.
Do I have to choose either one of them? Or
is it both? Oh no, you can pick whoever you want to. I'm just looking at those two teams right now.
I think the Bucks are still, even though they're down in the standings, I think they're like 12th in the East. Like I'm not worried about the Bucks. Like I think they're still getting guys back. Brooke hasn't been playing. Drew hasn't been playing. Chris Middleton hasn't been playing. Giannis hasn't been playing. Dante DiVincenzo isn't back yet. So I think that they've got real gelling to do. We saw who they were when crunch time came. Yes, they were a footprint away from losing to the Brooklyn Nets, but like the Brooklyn Nets should have won that series. So I think that the Bucks still are the favorites to me. They still are for real offensively, defensively. They can do things against anyone. Giannis to me is a matchup problem for almost every single team. So to me, I think that they're the realest team in the East, even though they're, 12th right now.
Yeah. Here in Sacramento, we wish we had that much confidence in a team that's struggling early, and they'll figure it out. No, we don't have that type of.
Are you guys going to fire Luke, or are you just too cheap? Like, is that going to happen at some point, or what's happening?
So the way we started the show is they're coming back from this disastrous road trip where they were 1-3. They've got a back-to-back with Toronto tonight.
Yep, and the Utah. Tristan Thompson, like, I don't need a man to inspire me thing.
We love
right. So we've got that. Hit record swept the nation yesterday. Power rotations all over the country. If the Kings lose both of these games this weekend, I can't imagine Luke Walton's the coach on Sunday.
So his butt is the hottest that it's ever been.
Oh, it's got to be. It's got to be. It's got to be. This road trip was really bad.
Yeah, and I think what was interesting there is that, like, you saw how desperate he was because he doesn't want to play Marvin Bagley, and then he did.
You hear that? Right there.
Desperation, panic. It's all over the place with them.
When you make erratic moves midway through, I have to say that's a telltale sign to me that you're worrying about your job. You're trying to shuffle around and make changes and be like, well, we are incorporating Marvin back in the lineup, so give me like 10 more games. That works.
Well, Tristan, let me ask you though, because this is the conversation that we have a lot on this show and all of Sacramento. Does he have, like, Luke Walton may be a bad coach, but is it because he's a bad coach or that roster just isn't good enough to get where the Kings think they should be, in your opinion?
Well, how good was the roster in LA when he was the head coach of the Lakers? Like, he wasn't a winning coach there either. He was okay. The best Luke Walton ever was as a coach was when he had the 73-9 Warriors when Steve Kerr was out with a back injury, right? Like, Luke Walton, I think, has some pieces now. Like, Rashawn Holmes is a real piece. Like, he was the best roller in the NBA last year. Like, he's a real piece. Like, Harrison Barnes is a real piece. Like, Davion Mitchell, as much as I slandered the Kings for taking Davion Mitchell, like, he is clamps. Like, yes, you have way more guards than you need, but I think Buddy Hield is on his way out, right? He wants to go. I think you can get something legit back for him. You've got Tyrese Halliburton. You've got De'Aaron Fox, who are a nasty backcourt. You have to move Marvin Bagley. Yeah, like, it's a strange fit with what you had in Hassan Whiteside and what you have now in Tristan Thompson. But, like, this is a good roster. Like, with a good coach, I think that this is a team at least in the mix, a team that at least keeps leads instead of allows them to just dissipate into the ether. I think you're seeing some very strange roster move, like roster rotations with Luke. So yeah, I think that they have pieces to be better. I'm seeing teams with worse rosters playing better, basically.
Rick Ross, Trysta Krick, two greatest guests D'Lo and KC have ever had. We are running that back on a loop for the next 48 hours.
Just spitting facts out here. The Kings should be good. Like, they should be good.
I agree.
And like Tyrese Halliburton, we kind of like slept on him, and we're sleeping on Davion. Like, I think at this point, the GM, the scouting has gotten better with when they got Igor, and now the next piece is that the domino just needs to fall, and Luke needs to go. Who do you think would be the best coach? Who do you think the best coach would be to hire right now for the Kings?
I don't know that they're going to hire someone. Like, I feel like it's going to be Alvin who's going to finish out the season. It'll be Alvin Gentry
next season.
Yeah,
that's not a bad head coach though.
No, he's not bad.
No, he's not.
I mean, I like Alvin Gentry. I've never heard anybody say a bad thing about Alvin Gentry, but look at his record as a head coach. He's had one season above 500.
And truthfully, the system is broken. Like, I don't talk about this really a lot, but there's like how would I call it? I would call it like a dark web of coaching creek. And they all are like in this little cabal, essentially. They're all basically represented by the same guy. Look it up, Google it. I'm not going to say his name like Voldemort because he is for real, but he's got real ties to the NBA Summer League, right? He's that guy. And him and Gerg, who's the guy who runs these coaching camps, they elevate the coaches to the next level, and they determine who ends up ascending and who doesn't. And what you get as a result are very mediocre coaches that all play and coach the same brand of basketball. So,
like a coaching Illuminati.
Yeah, exactly.
Look it up, a coaching Illuminati. It is for real, and they are represented by the same guy. GMs as well. Got to look into it.
Man, Trysta, I'm telling you, we're running this joint back on loop. Trysta, thanks for hanging out with us. We appreciate you so much. Have a great weekend.
Yeah, I'll see you guys next week.
Take care.
No, you're off next week. We're all off. We'll see you the week after that. Enjoy your Thanksgiving.
Yeah, you too.
All right, that's Trysta Krick right there, the host of Bet MGM Tonight.